Hello and welcome back to the reputation experiment that we've got going on the channel at the moment. The nature of this experiment is that we have swapped the reputations from Premier League clubs to National League clubs, and then League 2 clubs with Championship clubs. League 1 clubs, they've kept their reputation because they're in the middle, but we've swapped the reputations over and we've tried to see what kind of effect that has had on the teams. Now, if you've not seen any of this so far, then I'll leave a link in the top of the screen right now to go to episode 1 where we explain it a little bit better and you can start to watch it from the beginning. If you have watched episode 1 and episode 2 though, welcome back. Hope you're all doing well today. Last episode we got to 2028, so 10 years in the future from the very start. And today we're going to go 15 years in the future for the final episode. So just a little quick recap. The last time you were here, we saw that Barnet had got themselves into second in the Premier League. Salford were down in 8th, and Dagenham and Redbridge were also in the Premier League, but they had been relegated. So we'd seen a massive bit of change, and this is all just reputation based. Like, Barnet have got here because of the reputation they've got, basically. Arsenal are doing quite well at the moment. They've managed to recover a bit of reputation, but from what we understand, I think there is a bit of a glitch in terms of the reputation of the league not really increasing, because we changed the reputation of the actual Premier League with the banner on the National League, and I thought that naturally the Premier League would just start to get better as obviously the Premier League clubs qualify for European competitions. That's not happened for whatever reason. I think there is a bit of a bug in here to suggest that, so I'm not quite sure what's gone on there, but it just has. Also, last time I was saying I don't understand why, you know, teams like Salford, they get to the Premier League and their reputation goes down. I don't know why that happened, and I was saying that until pretty much all of you in the comment section last time were like, well, actually, if the Premier League reputation is so low, then obviously teams in this division, their reputation is only ever going to get lower and lower, which makes a lot of sense. So if we do this again in the future, we won't touch the actual competition reputation, we just change the team reputation. I think this has kind of ruined it a little bit. Either way though, it has still worked very nicely to see that Barnet are qualifying for the Champions League and things like that. That's quite exciting. So I'm going to go 15 years into the future from now. We're going to just simulate forward. I'll go 15 years in the future and then I'll see you back and see what's happened, because it should be pretty exciting. So before I do that, if you do like this experiment, you've watched all the other episodes and you've really enjoyed it, please do drop a like on the video for me and feel free to subscribe to the channel. It would be great to have you on board as we're really trying to push forward now. We smashed through 10k. I'm looking at 20k and I want to get there. That'd be pretty cool. So hopefully, if you subscribe, we can get there by end of the year. That'll be impressive, but we'll try. Right, so we're back now, 15 years in the future from last episode, 25 years in the future from where we've started in episode 1. We are here in 2043 now, and let's look at the change. So we're going to start off in the National League. So here we are in the National League, about to commence the season. You can see here all the different teams that are in it. So quite a few teams have dropped down. Bristol Rovers, for example, that's a big team to have dropped down. Looking down here, Lincoln City, my team, the back in the National League. You hate to see that, but MK Dons, Oldham, Peterborough, Rochdale as well, Wycombe Wanderers, some big teams actually have dropped down to the National League. I don't like that really, because I want to see like teams like Lincoln getting on with themselves, doing well, but clearly they've dropped down. Into League 2 then, and a mix of teams here to be fair. Not many National League teams that we started off with. National League sides seem to be doing quite well. Dover are here, Ebbsfleet are there. Maidenhead are there, but a few other big teams, Braintree there as well to be fair, but like Wimbledon, Bradford's, Mansfield, Scunthorpe's, they've dropped down a bit. Oxford as well, for example. So a bit, it doesn't look too dissimilar to real life actually, but more National League sides are in there. If we move up to League 1 now though, we've got teams like Boreham Wood are up in League 1, for example, Newport County, Stockport County. Stockport County, we didn't actually touch their reputation, so Stockport County have done very well for themselves. Same with York, we didn't touch their reputation either, but York have done quite well. So that's an interesting one there. Lots of teams in League 1 at the moment, that's quite cool. Hull have dropped down quite far away. To be fair, Newcastle have as well, massively far. Nottingham Forest are also dropping down. It's an interesting one. Is as we move into the Championship, Aldershot are in the Championship. I think we saw them in the Premier League at one point. So Aldershot have dropped down to the Championship. That's still very, very good for them. We've got Chelsea down in the Championship, which is interesting. Tottenham as well. West Ham, Salford have dropped down because they were in the Premier League for a while as well. But teams like Leyton Orient, I mean, even Southend, for example, are up there as well. So some good sides in there. But now, as we go into the Premier League, what are we here to expect then? So Arsenal, as per usual, they're always there, but Barnet are there, Birmingham are there, Chesterfield are there. Chesterfield always seems to do quite well in these kind of experiments, to be fair. And actually, it's only Barnet and Chesterfield who are the two sides from the National League that have managed to get up there. which is a little bit confusing. I would have thought we'd see a few more of them, but clearly not. The Premier League, by the way, has actually dropped down to 112th, and there's only 2 Champions League places now and 3 Europa League places, so that's a little bit odd, but down to 112th now, the Premier League, just below the Kazakhstan First Division, which is a bit weird. Let's look at some of these past winners then. The past winners then. Barnet actually managed to win it one year, which is really impressive. They came second so many times. You see that because last time we were here, we saw Barnet come second to Arsenal. And in the 15 seasons since then, they've had 5 more second-place finishes and won a title, which is pretty good. Middlesbrough and Brighton also up there as well. They seem to be winning a few titles. So Brighton and Middlesbrough seem to be the clubs at the moment. West Brom with a few third-place finishes as well. So the Manchester clubs, the Liverpool clubs, doing very well for themselves. Barnet and Brighton and Middlesbrough and West Brom and Arsenal, I suppose, in there a little bit as well. But it's fair play, a bit of a different makeup. Let's look at the transfers then. Right, transfers. I mean, only 15 million being spent as the highest transfer fee this past season. Obviously, because the reputation of the league itself is going down, the transfer values are also going down. And it's a shame that the league reputation is sort of not doing what I wanted it to do. I assumed it would just rocket back up there because all these clubs are going into the European competitions, but that's sort of been messed up a little bit. So in the future, we won't change league reputations at all, I don't think, because that has affected transfer values. I say that. 26 million spent the season before that by a few clubs, actually, for a few players there. But it's not really anyone special buying. It's Man City's, Arsenal's, Man City's, Man United's sort of thing. It's not like Barnes are up there spending the money, splashing the cash. They're selling players. I mean, they sold a player £15 million to Aldershot. So that's quite a lot of money, obviously, but it's not been quite as exciting there. £20 million spent by Barnet that season. Chesterfield down here spending £7.75 million on a player from Barnet, for example. So there is money being spent, but it's not as exciting as I thought it was going to be, which is a bit of a shame, really, I've got to say. I'm a bit upset about that. Chesterfield spending £30 million in the 2036-37 season. That's a lot of money, I suppose. Let's check out this Barnet side, though. Barnet, how are you doing? Let's have a look at their current ability and potential ability. So we've got current ability here, potential ability there of how good these players are. So if we sorted by current ability, their best player is only 142 current ability, which isn't actually that good, actually. It's not brilliant, is it? Current ability and potential ability, by the way, if you don't know, it's out of 200. So that's what we're looking at here, out of 200. Potential ability, their best one is 177, so he's got quite a bit of potential. He could be a very, very good player in the future. So what have Barnet won? They've won an FA Cup along the way somewhere, and they've won 3 Carabao Cups. So we'll have a look at the Cups shortly, but nothing continental. They've won a Premier League as well, obviously, which is quite cool. But, okay, that's Barnet. Let's have a look at Chesterfield as well whilst we're here. Their best player, in terms of current ability, is only 131, and that is very low actually for the Premier League. But obviously, it's all dependent, isn't it? Because 131 current ability for the 112th best division in the world, actually that's probably very, very high. So because the league's reputation itself is so low, that's having an effect on the players they're able to sign, which I didn't factor in actually. So that's an interesting one. So let's have a look at the past winners of the Carabao Cup. So Barnet won it once, twice, 3 times for Barnet, which is pretty cool. With any other National League sides, Salford were runners-up 1 year. But other than that, no other National League sides in the Carabao Cup, which is a little bit upsetting. But I suppose Barnet have won it 3 times, which is quite cool. In the FA Cup, obviously Barnet have won it once, but they've come runners-up twice, actually. Aldershot won it once as well, which is quite exciting. But other than that, no other National League sides there. Swapping the reputations hasn't actually resulted in that big of a change in terms of the sides that are actually winning these competitions and getting to the finals. I mean, we've seen Brighton and Watford get to the semi-finals and finals in this past season, actually, in real life, which is exciting. So it's not too dissimilar that they would be there, actually. So, I mean, there's a few different runners-up, I suppose, but it's still always the Man Uniteds, the Man Cities, the Chelseas, the Arsenals, and the Liverpools winning it sort of thing. So there's nothing too major difference in the cup winners, which again, a little bit of a shame. So let's have a look then at the best clubs with the best reputation. Apparently Brighton are the most reputable club in England at the moment, which is a bit crazy, to be fair. Fair play, Brighton being the best club, followed up by Arsenal, then Swindon actually in League One. They're the third most reputable club. Boreham Wood in League One, they are also in the top 5, which is impressive. That's pretty good for Boreham Wood, to be fair. But again, it's all skewed because we swapped the league's reputation around. So the Premier League's got such a rubbish reputation, but the National League has still got a really good reputation. that seems to have affected this massively, I think, which does skew the results a little bit, which is a bit annoying, but it's something we have to deal with. Other big reputable teams, York are up there, Newport County are up there. We've got teams like Stockport up there, Barnet are down there as well. That's exciting. So that is how it's all sort of panned out. Now, this is going to be the last episode because it's not quite worked out how I wanted it to work out, or how I thought it was going to work out. I thought the leagues themselves would change reputation, but it's not. The league hasn't changed reputation. The Premier League is still classed as a rubbish league, whereas the National League is still classed as one of the best in the world, which I don't quite understand why that's not changed. Obviously, it's something to do with the game or something I've missed within the editor, for example. I'm not quite sure why that's the case. In future, if we do another one like this, we will have to not change the league's reputation itself, because that's kind of been a hindering factor to how this experiment could have gone. Because if we'd not done that, or the league's reputation had changed, so the Premier League got really good again, and the National League got really bad again, I think we could have done this experiment for a lot longer to see the different changes. But unfortunately, it's not quite worked out like that. So that is going to be that for this experiment. There's not going to be an experiment next week because I am on holiday. But instead, we're going to have some Formula 1 videos out. Now, I mentioned before in videos that I kind of want to put some Formula 1 stuff out on the channel because I was really enjoying playing it. And as I'm away next week, Football Manager videos, as per usual, are coming out. There's no experiments because I've not planned any for when I'm away, but we are going to put a few Formula 1 videos out for you. So if you're interested in that, by all means, have a watch. If you're not interested, you don't have to click on it. But I just thought I'd pre-warn you that there's going to be some different content out next week, but it won't affect Football Manager stuff, so don't worry about that. So thank you very much for watching this experiment. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have done, please do drop a like on the video, and there's going to be a subscribe button in the middle of the screen right now. And now you've got a choice of 2 more videos you can watch. You can either watch another experiment, or you can go and watch the Lincoln Loco 2 series that we've got going on. It's very exciting at the moment. We're looking like we could be getting to the Premier League soon. So join me in one of those videos, and I'll see you there. Goodbye.